What's my channel about? What am I about? And what's my website about? This is the Primarch, the home page of Utopian Realism, Mind Mastery, the Freedom Credit, Logical Selfism, and more. The Primarch is my home page of various works collated into one neat and easily accessible place. The term Primarch can be translated to mean primary ruler, first leader, or prime archon. This is in reference to my fundamental philosophy that each man and woman should be their own master, or primarch, if you will. An alternative but principally fungible name is the sovereign. To me, a sovereign is a lord of one, the self. Feel free to explore my work. It's being categorized into specific branches of study for ease of access. I recommend browsing through it all to see what there is before starting. Enjoy. If you'd like to contact me, I am very approachable and appreciate connecting with fellow minds. So on the website, you can find links to my YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The first link we have here is for Utopian Realism. Utopian Realism is my solution to government, law, order, and economics. It's an integrated socio-economic model plus some. I had to create an entire new concept called a civilizations model to encompass all the other sub-concepts it subsumes, such as currency, philosophy, and defense. We'll take a quick look at it now. This is the Utopian Realism homepage, and you can find the intro video at the top, a brief description, then the first page going over money and the freedom credit. The second is about capitalism and the socio-economic structure. The third is law and objective morality. The fourth page is public property and services, so privatization, how that works. The fifth is about all my different policies I would implement, my solutions to the current chaos of what we have today, or what we have on Earth in general. The sixth is about military and my idea of private militia, how that could work. And then 7 is about philosophy, primarily with Objectivism. Let's go back to the home page. Next we have the freedom credit, and that's my solution for a standard of money that is equitable, valuable, and private. It's a conceptual currency that's digital and deflationary. It makes no compromises for your sovereignty or security. Its intended usage is to give you, or everyone, more with less. Thus, I invented the concept Efficiennomics to explain how a good money makes things cheaper. Instead of things costing more year after year, with a good money, things get cheaper year after year. Let's take a brief look at that page. So the freedom credit has many pages. This is the first, and I've got a video at the top of each page that explains what is on the page. This page talks about value, the app, transactions, how it all works in basic detail. And then down the bottom here, you can see there's 8 different pages. You'll learn a lot about money, what is money, how the freedom credit works, comparing it to current currencies, gold and silver, banking history. There's a lot going on here. So let's go back to the homepage. If you want to go back to the homepage of the Primarch, just click the logo at the top left. After the freedom credit, we have mind mastery. So that's my solution to living an aesthetic, healthy, strong, and active lifestyle for the average individual. This is for normal everyday people who don't want to spend all their time in the gym or get on steroids or have a whole bunch of supplements. They don't want to be crazy about it, but they just want to be, as I said. I initially intended to sell this program for a lot, but now it's free to access as a complete course. In essence, I teach you how to master your mind to stay lean all year round whilst eating an open diet and utilizing an exercise strategy that suits you. Let's have a look. So this is the first page of the Mind Mastery program. You'll be greeted by this page. You'll have this video here. You click on that, hour and 20-minute video. You come down here. I've left a lot of it just as it was when I was going to sell it. So if you just want the content, you'll be able to find that. There's maybe 8 pages or so that is all easily findable that go over everything you need to know. Back to the home page. What's after mind mastery? We have objective definitions. Words are visual auditory symbols which we use to represent concepts, and concepts are objective. And it's crucial we have a proper and accurate understanding of the words we use for our own cognition and communication. If we don't know what we are talking about, we cannot communicate. This is still a big work in progress because just coming up with one definition for a word, that could take hours to years to get one definition really precise and accurately specific, objectively accurate. So I've got words in most letters, still haven't got any definitions for X, Y, and Z. That'll come in due time. But this is a gold mine here. But as it says, definitions are subject to update. If you want to know more about definitions, there's playlists on YouTube from Leonard Peikoff talking about how to create objective definitions. For the hardcore philosophical enthusiast, which is probably not many people, probably not you, but that's okay. The next is ethical contracts. This is how I reason a proper ethical contract must be designed and utilized. For a contract to be objective and binding, it requires these elements. And those elements are 12 I have up to here. And there's a video that explains this page. But it always updates over time. My ideas, but I think this is pretty darn good as it is. Take a look and make your own judgment. After contracts, we have fraud, recognizing fraud. Upon discovering the world is overflowing with fraud, from the amateur con man to the professional international fraudsters running government and banking scams, and then to the fraudsters even above that who created this world in the first place, I decided to systematize and make explicit the elements of fraud. I hope this can aid in one's intellectual and legal self-defense by learning how to spot and expose scams. So I have 14 different elements that constitute fraud at this point, with short explanations, and there are videos. The first one was 9 elements of the common mainstream elements of fraud, and then I realized there's more than that, and I made an updated video, but they're both great to watch. Back to the home page. Next we have what is love. The word love is thrown around all the time without proper consideration to its real or intended meaning. I aim to uncover its mysteries and show both the ugly and beautiful sides to humanity's most infamous emotion. This is an objective investigation into love. The first 3 videos in the series are talking about how love is conditional. Unconditional love is evil. Evil beyond imagination. If you haven't studied this, you're like, what? What do you mean? Unconditional love is evil. Yes, I guarantee you it's so obvious. Then the next parts are about positive values of love, and I've got some written work here. And then the 5th part is the anti and vacuous values of love. So the negative, fake, pseudo, unhealthy, unconditional, irrational forms of love, which are not really love, but people call it that. After the What is Love, we have the Matrix Exposed playlist and series. Why are we stuck here on Earth, a world dominated and designed to be evil? How deep does the corruption, the deception, and the rot really go? Beyond what you can imagine. Invest in this series of nothing but the deepest truths will satiate your burning curiosity. So on this page is topics like life after death, spirits, NPCs, NDEs, ADEs, grand theories on why the world exists, the farm prison hypothesis, antinatalism, violations of contract and fraud of Earth itself. Then I have a playlist here. That's what that playlist is about. This one is about other people's testimonies of their interactions with the light, the astral realm and the void. Then there's a playlist from Mark at Forever Consciousness Research, a link to Dan from Overwatch Project, playlist from Perpetual Pleasurist channel. That'll keep you busy for quite a while, exposing the Matrix. Actually, I should put a David Icke link there as well. He's got a lot of good content. Next is philosophy, which so many people in the freedom community and on the path of awakening. There is no being awake here on earth, there is only awakening. They skip philosophy, and it is to their grand peril to skip philosophy. It is so important. It is a very useful tool. Even if the people who created this philosophy misused it, the tool itself is invaluable. What is philosophy and why do we need it? It's the science of man's relationship to reality, and everyone has a philosophy. It's unavoidable, inescapable. If you are alive, you have a philosophy. Unfortunately, most people's philosophy is unconscious and irrational. The goal of objectivism is to make your philosophy explicit and objective. Reason is your only means of knowing reality, and your highest ambition is to live for yourself and be happy. This page has a lot of playlists from a bunch of different objectivist philosophers. Ayn Rand is the creator of Objectivism, and there are some videos featuring her. Leonard Peikoff, who was an intellectual heir. There's Harry Binswanger, Charles Chu, and Tara Smith. There's a lot here. And all these different playlists talking about virtues, values, and vices, certainty and the senses. It's the only way we can get any kind of information. There's a beginner's introduction to Objectivism. The reason, faith. Faith is not a means of cognition, people. Neither are emotions. But what are emotions? What's psychoepistemology? Very interesting stuff. Being selfish. What is rational self-interest? And egoism, not egotism. Egoism. An intermediate playlist. The advanced playlist. This advanced playlist will probably take you a year to get through. Just that alone. That's a big one. And that's if you're attacking it like every day kind of thing. It's a big task. In the case for open borders, in a context, obviously, all knowledge is contextual. Everything said is contextual. Then we have the last one on the page at the moment. There would probably be more in the future. Stoicism, Nietzsche, and skepticism. That's Harry Binswanger. And we can go to the homepage again. After philosophy, we have Aetheria. What would a utopian world built from the ground up look like? If one with the power of a god was to create a world as close to perfect as possible, what would it be like? Aetheria is my vision of that world, the perfect world I want to build and live in one day. Learn more by comparing Aetheria to the only world we're all familiar with, Earth. Currently, this page is only populated by my world rating series. There's 4 videos in this series comparing Earth to Aetheria, which is essentially comparing hell to heaven. And I've got my notes here on the 40 different points I actually compare. And Earth gets a score of 173, which I still think is very, very generous. And Aetheria gets 370. I think the more days that go by, the lower and lower that score of Earth gets, because I become more conscious of the hell-like nature of this world. The next series is God is fake. Why the idea of God is unreasonable. The idea of God is irrational. There is no evidence to suggest the existence of any such being. Any evidence which appears to be evidence of God can be dismissed as evidence of malevolent imposter beings, not a one true God. Like really, how silly do you have to be to believe in a one true benevolent God and then to see burning at the stake? Just one person burning at the stake. One rape, one murder. It is a completely senseless, incoherent idea. The belief of an external God should be rejected in its entirety and replaced with knowledge of the God perspective within. That will be spoken more about in my Logical Selfism series, which is still under development. The first playlist is from Dark Matter 2525. It's a compilation of his best videos, debunking Christianity in a intellectual, witty, and humorous manner. I found it very entertaining. And then this is a playlist. It's got a couple videos from me and then a compilation of many objectivist philosophers explaining the stupidity of the concept of God and the utter baseless point of view. The next series is Leveled, a flat earth truth. The ancients of every culture in the past understood this so obvious and simple truth. Yet today, with all our technological advancement, people's common sense observational skills have dramatically declined. If you want to know the truth, all you need to do is look. All the videos in this playlist are from myself, and then in the description in some of those videos, there's plenty more links and recommendations to other channels. I have to call out Eric Dubé here. I think he's the king of the leveled world. At this point, he's got plenty of great content, but there are lots of other people who explain it as well. There's an abundance of information you can find, and really it is just common sense stuff for 90% of it. Some of it is more technical and difficult to discover and figure out. I've also got a link tree page here with just a bunch of links I built years ago. And just to demonstrate, if you click on that, it'll take you to YouTube, and then you can experience the full playlist like that. So with all those playlists on my website here, you just click on that link and it'll open up the playlist into YouTube. That's the best way to do it. Next is the nature of evil. The fog of evil is so thick and pervasive that most mistake it for God. For the majority, it's all they can see and identify with. They embrace the noxious fog like a lover and are consumed by their childish blindness. If you cannot see evil for what it is, it will eat you alive while you beg for it to hurt more. Thus is the nature of evil. So I have a playlist here. It opens with a 4-part series from myself about the nature of evil. Then there are some other objectivist philosophers explaining the nature of evil. And by no means is this a full comprehensive nature of evil, because you could probably make billions of hours explaining the nature of evil. Just talk about Earth. The next playlist is Lawful Self-Defense, dealing with police and courts. Manner is my armor. Negative averement my shield, and morality my sword. Learn my approach to protect yourself from thugs and con artists. So I employ these strategies when dealing with reality renegades, as I sometimes like to call them. And remember, none of this is advice or incitement or any of that stupid garbage. It's purely my perspective on what may be considered lawful self-defense. So do as you will with this information. This is my playlist here. And this is a playlist of living in the private from other people. A few different videos I've composed into this playlist. It's an interesting and useful principle to understand. Next is objective morality. What's right is right, irrespective of your or anyone else's, whether it's God Almighty above or the tiniest, most insignificant ant. What's right is right, irrespective of your faith, feelings, or imagination. Mind you, for the human perspective, because that's all we are, we're humans. Morality is objective, and your rights don't come from God or men, but reality itself. Only with reason can there be good, and only without it can there be evil. The only way evil can ever exist is when one loses their reason. And you see how this world is absolutely dominated by evil. It is evil incarnate, chaos made manifest. Why? Because there is so little reason. That's why. So on this page, there's multiple playlists. The first playlist is from myself, talking about morality, rights, the golden rule of equity, and the basis of law. The next, there's about 60 or so videos from Lark and Rose talking about anarchy and morality. This is really good content. That's how I came across the idea of anarchy and was getting introduced to morality, and especially from Mark Passio. That's where I first learnt the idea itself that morality is objective. And he has some really good work here. I think this is his best content, and I have packaged it here. And I also have another page about morality and law inside the Utopian Realism series about objective law. And on this page, there's another video which is explaining this page. And I've got some more writing about the key points here. So it's worth definitely checking out both of these pages to get a bigger picture of all sorts of things. Okay, let's go back to the Primarch homepage. Next we have money lucidity. What makes money money? We all use it every day, but what is it and how does it work? Why is the cabal obsessed with it? And is there any good to it? This series discusses different historical currencies, the banking fraud, and the nature of money itself. So there's a few videos from myself and other people talking about money and banking. It also includes the Freedom Credit series is also inside this. So because it's not just about the Freedom Credit, that's why there's two separate pages. One page is just about the Freedom Credit. This is about money, all types of money, including the Freedom Credit. Government, an unnecessary evil. If you ever come across a good government, it's not a government. Good government is a logical impossibility. Impossible. It's the same as a square triangle. It cannot be done. 2 + 2 does not equal 6. Impossible. To learn all the flaws of government and all my proposed solutions, invest in this series. It's going to be worth your time and while. This is not a playlist, that's actually just one video, but it's a longer one talking about what would the perfect government look like. Obviously, there is no perfect government. It wouldn't look like anything because that's a logical contradiction. Next is a series, there's 15 videos in here about how a government should really work, looking at 263 policies. The next is why a government can never work and what to do instead. There is lots of content. There's 5 videos in there. So there's 21 videos just here. Plenty to keep you busy and plenty to give you a much deeper understanding of the idea of government and what rational, mature solutions are available. Because government is anything but mature. And then I have a playlist about privatization, private law societies, as Professor Hans Hermann Hoppe, and different examples of real-world privatization and how it's just better. AI, the glorified calculator. I mean, that looks a bit like an abacus calculator, same. So is AI the greatest threat to humanity, even greater than nukes, which don't exist? As puppet actor Elon Musk trumpets? Hope you realize what I did there. The short answer is no. So I have a playlist here, mainly from other people, explaining computers and AI, the technology, because so often people mistakenly fear what they do not understand and they eat up the propaganda. Oh, AI, it's this terrible evil thing, it's behind everything, it's in control, it's the demiurge, it's blah blah blah, oh, all this crap, not understanding what it actually is. It's just a tool. Sure, people can use it as a dangerous weapon, like you can swing a sword, but it's not the sword itself. Sword without a wielder is harmless. AI without a wielder is harmless. Logical selfism, that is still under development. There is a page there, but it's in its nascent stages. So it's going to be a religious philosophy. And why I call that is because philosophy is what is known and what you can be certain of, And religion is what is belief-based. So I have belief-based ideas about cosmology, what happens after death. There seems to be plenty of evidence, but I can't know for sure exactly what happens after death. Even though there's so many testimonials about reincarnation, about what actually happens when people exit the body and they're greeted by the light and the sentinels and the astral dimension and the void and this collective hive mind that wants to control and consume them. There is all this evidence, but I can't say for sure, like I can say about so many other things in philosophy. Philosophy is about what you can know for certain is true. Religion is about what you believe to be true. And what you know for certain, well, that's not really up for debate. Still, you can be open-minded about it to learn more, but religion, that is still very open-minded about that. It's obviously not a typical religion that tries to brainwash you with this dogma of being inferior, submissive, obedient, and pathetic. No, my religious perspective and my philosophy on religion is to be your own God self. Actually, let's have a quick look at it, because I've got a little written about it at the top here. Under construction, as it says, in my religion, logic is the almighty and the self the focus. With almighty focus, one can live their best life for all eternity. And so I say for all eternity, that's a belief. This is a religion of one. You do not join or adopt it to become subservient to another hierarchy. You join by adopting its tenets for yourself as you see fit. If you join, you become a lord of one. As your own lord, you decide if you practice these principles or build your own path. You become a primarch, a prime archon. The term archon can be flipped on its head and be used in a positive manner, because obviously it gets referred to the Greek term of the archons and the demiurge and Gnosticism. They're the bad, they're the sentinels of the astral realm. Let's turn it around. Be your own prime archon, the prime ruler of yourself, your mind, your identity, your life. Create your own destiny. And the last page is the miscellaneous page. Just all the other stuff is thrown into here that I can't fit into any other categories. And actually, I got to throw that video about nukes in from Eric Dubay. That was a really good one, because that's just another BS psyop. So I've got some extra content of my own interviews, me interviewing other people or being interviewed, some videos about health here, physical and mental, how to argue with grace, other people's content on fantastic technology and innovative ideas, a resource-based economy. I do really like that idea. It's a playlist here on relationships and psychology, men and women. I probably will be adding to this as well with my own content at some soon future point. And I'll put that nukes video on here. But anything I come across that I think is really worth your while to study and investigate, I will put it onto this page. So welcome to the Primarch. To summarize, my page is about utopian realism, the freedom credit, mind mastery, objective definitions, ethical contracts, recognizing fraud, what is love, the matrix exposed, objectivism, philosophy of Ayn Rand, Aetheria, God is fake, level, the flat earth truth, the nature of evil, lawful self-defense, objective morality, money lucidity, government and unnecessary evil, AI, the glorified calculator, logical selfism, and miscellaneous. So as you can see, there is a lot of content here. If you were to go through all my work and all the recommended playlists from other people's content, I presume it might take you about between 2 to 4 years. More likely 4 years to get through all this content at a steady state pace of maybe a couple hours a day. And to really understand, I don't mean just watch it, I mean to understand it. Understanding in some communities gets a bad rap because it's being used in an inappropriate context in some places. I understand that. Take that power back and you want to understand this information deeply and become much more wiser and powerful for it. Once more, if you'd like to contact me, I'm very approachable and I appreciate connecting with fellow minds. I judge people by the quality of their character, and I hope you get enormous value from this page.